Let's cut in this new circuit into this old 1950s Frank Adams panel. It is a Tuesday, and we are in Somerset, Massachusetts today. A lot of you messaged me yesterday and said, hey, Lance, why don't you guys remove that wooden border around the panel? That way you can snake your MC in through the top. Well, the reason why I can't do that, guys, is because the panel is actually screwed into that wooden border. If I take those screws out, the whole entire panel is just going to fall into the wall. It's just not feasible. If you look at the top of the panel, there's like 4 Romexes going into 1/2 inch KO, and there's no connector on it, so all the KOs at the top are full. We have to come in through the bottom of the panel. Anytime I'm cutting old plaster like this, I like to make sure that we take the extra safety precautions. And what I mean by that is we like to start super early in the morning before anyone enters the building. We also like to make sure we're using a HEPA vacuum to capture all the dust and debris. That way it doesn't go airborne. We are also wearing N95 masks with safety glasses on. That way we don't get it in our lungs or in our eyes. We will also put down a drop cloth on the floor because there's going to be large plaster chunks hitting the floor, and we want to make sure that we don't damage the floor or scratch it at all. So when I was cutting the plaster, we ended up going through 3 Diablo blades. I think the other blade is an Amazon blade, but this plaster just ripped through those old blades and ruined them. So those were all junk. At the end, I ended up having to use a flathead screwdriver to finish making those holes. On the left side of the panel there, that's where all the tandems will go. It's acceptable. And now I was trying to break open this 1/2 inch KO here, and because the panel is so old and this is real steel here, I ended up having to use a 90-degree attachment with a drill bit. I drilled basically a hole in the center there. Then I put the self-tapper in with my diagonals, and I was able to break out that 1/2 inch KO with no issues. We're going to end up using these BR breakers here. These are tandem breakers, and trying to get the original factory breakers for this panel is very, very difficult. You know, it takes a very long time to get these breakers, so this is going to be the setup for now. I put an access panel below the panel. I put an access panel above the panel. That's going to be for future use, just in case they want to do anything else with this setup. I put some no locks on those screws there. I put all brand new screws inside the panel, and this was the setup in this break room here. So we used 1/2 inch EMT going up the wall there, a couple standoff clips. I used the standoff clips because the walls are so crooked that EMT would not sit flat against the wall, so the standoff clips were the way to go. I got a GFI on the left, a GFI on the right, and this is the final setup here. They were super, super happy with it, so if you're in Massachusetts or Rhode Island, give us a call. We are taking new clients, and I personally answer every phone call.